Hello friends, hello. Welcome to this video. This is DelVecchio with Return of the Priestess and the MotherSpirit Priestess line and DelVecchio.com. And I wanted to make this video because I just recently wrote an email, a long missive, and most of my emails to my email list are at least partially channeled. So I wrote a missive and got so much feedback, I thought, well, let me make a video to share with a little bit of a wider audience. So the theme of this video is predictions 2023. And I say that with the caveat that, there's a lot of predictions out there, and there's, how do I want to say this? We are co-creating the future. We are co-creating the future with each other and also with Mother Gaia. And so the way that 2023 will unfold will be determined based on our individual and collective energies. At an individual level, we will experience the results of our own frequency, our attention, and our intention, as well as our soul's intention to resolve, clear, complete, integrate, release, and transform soul level experiences that we came to resolve, clear, clean, transform in this incarnation. So when I say predictions, I want to say it in that context, that there are some things that we know are likely to occur, and we also know that we have some hand in the way in which it unfolds. So I'm just going to take a couple breaths here, and then I'll go, because what this does when most of my videos start with a few breaths, because it takes me into my heart, which I've already prepared, before I hit the record button, but it also invites you to do the same. Let's get into a more connected heart space rather than just doing this as a head exercise, so that the transmission comes through with more clarity and more ability for you to receive it from the heart space. So if it's safe to do so, you can close your eyes. But even if you're listening to this driving or doing some activity, just take a nice deep breath into the heart, as if you're opening into the heart space to become more aware of your multidimensional self and more able to receive information on lots of levels of your being as you exhale to release what does not serve you in this now moment. And again, breathing in, expanding your field of awareness through multidimensional levels and through the levels of your energy and physical body. Exhaling to surrender and release all that does not serve you at this time, known or unknown. And one more breath in, opening into this spacious present moment. And exhaling. Okay, and you can continue to keep your eyes closed if that serves you, or open them. So, predictions 2023. As I said, as I preambled this with, there are definitely things unfolding on our planet that at a collective level, you could say, or at a collective and personal level, are out of our hands from the level of the actual 3D experience. Some things are, in a sense, in that way, destined to occur. And yet, we have free will on many levels as well. We have free will to choose how we'll respond to it, what choices we'll make, where we'll put our attention and intention, how much we want to raise our frequency so that our meeting up with events and circumstances can be a more fortuitous experience rather than a challenging one. So let me give an example rather than be so vague. Let's say you are destined to resolve a certain karmic complex or karmic experience that you've been having. Let's say you struggle with finances, as an example, and you knew that you came into this lifetime to resolve certain issues, patterns you've had around 3D stability and security. If you have up until now been devoting your consciousness to poverty, consciousness to the struggle, let's just say the struggle. 2023 may have been when you, at a soul level, set a timeline for, if I haven't resolved this issue by then, I'm going to bump up against a karmic relationship that's going to help me to really change my attitude and my energy around this so that I can heal and resolve it. And if you've been still kind of mucking about in, we could say, victim mentality, confusion, suffering, bad patterns with regard to finances and 3D security, and you've set 2023 as a timeline for you to have the next uptick in your learning in this karmic lesson, that karmic experience is likely to be a lot more challenging and difficult. You could get really ripped off, for example, or lose your security job because you have not been putting energy into some other possibilities. But let's say the opposite is true, and I'm simplifying this a lot. At a soul level, the refinement, the subtlety, the nuance is profound. But I just want to make a simple illustration because I want to take this then and go more into the predictions. So let's say you've been devoting a lot of time to healing your wounds around 3D, money stuff, etc. But you know that at a soul level, 2023 is a time when you wanted to kick your whole energy around money, security, 3D consciousness, 3D, security stuff. Then you will still have a karmic experience, but it may be very different. You may have a proverbial rug pulled out from under you with regard to job, but because of your high frequency around that and the healing you've done, something else opens up right away, so you don't feel as if you're falling into an abyss and triggering so much fear. So the fear might still arise, but you will be resourced and you will find, wait a minute. There's this, let me open up. I have the spiritual tools to open, and boom, you have new opportunities arise for you. So the karmic lesson is still there. The energetic is still there. That was sort of destined, if you will. It was in the timeline of your personal life, but the experience of it was very different, and the transformation into the new level of consciousness came with much more grace and ease rather than trauma and fear and anxiety. Okay, so that's a personal example. Now let's take that to the collective, okay? What do I predict for 2023? Hey, the 3D matrix is collapsing, and we're going to continue to see that. We're not going back to normal. We're going to continue to see some of the same things that we've been watching and observing and witnessing and walking into and encountering in the last 3 years. Top-down control efforts, crazy shenanigans of persuasions that we never thought possible before, deep levels of confusion in the collective, deep levels of suffering in the collective, challenges. So, however, we are co-creating it. And the more of us who are attuning ourselves to high frequency of love, forgiveness, acceptance, devotion to our spiritual practice, devotion to Mother Gaia in a way that is not fear-based but love-based, from the higher perspective, from the soul perspective of the 3D matrix is collapsing, and those who have benefited from our asleepness as a collective are now desperately throwing out all of what they've got in order to keep hold of capture as many consciousnesses as possible to continue to support their luxury lifestyles among their power trips. But at the same time, the new earth is rising. So if we keep the perspective and say, yep, 3D collapsing, more shenanigans in 2023, and, oh, more incredible things rising up, more incredible opportunities and possibilities for co-creation, for new earth visioning, for new technologies, for new communities, that's simultaneously happening. You'll never see it in mainstream, of course, but if you're watching this video, you've probably already connected with the things that light you up around supporting the building of New Earth. So both of those things are going to happen at an accelerated rate. So that's the difference. We're going to see the split in the timelines more and more, and we're going to see quicker manifestation of our own frequencies. So at a collective level, what this means is that the more capable we are, those star seeds, light workers, priestesses, holy women and men, the more capable we are of maintaining high frequency, because we've done a lot of the shadow work of clearing the old triggers, the more we support a less bumpy ride for this transition of diverging timelines and new earth rising. The more we mitigate and, in some sense, limit the nefarious and destructive powers of those who would like to capture the entire planet in a slave planet. They're not going to do it. Let's be clear here. They're not going to do it, but they're doing everything they can to capture some, to continue to support what they've been up to on all levels, all the bigs, the big pharma, big ag, agriculture, big technology, big all of it. At the highest level, it's all about capturing control, top-down control. But astrologically speaking and planetarily energetically speaking on Earth, Gaia Earth, that energy is no longer supported, and they're losing ground rapidly. It doesn't look like it, of course, it doesn't look like it, because the messages they want to put out in the mainstream are such that they realize that we as a collective co-create our future through our vision and our intention. And so if they can keep the masses in fear and trauma-based mind control and anxiety about the future and a willingness to cooperate with tyranny and all of that, then they continue to have fuel for their timeline, right? For their trajectory that they want. And I'm not going to get into who they are. Let's just say at the highest level of being, they are beings who are our collective out-projected shadow, okay? We don't have to get into the nitty-gritty. There's plenty of videos you can watch on that. That's not the point, because the point of my message today is for those of us with eyes to see, for those of us who have committed ourselves to supporting the rise of New Earth, our job is to focus now as much as we can on the New Earth in any way we can. Now, some of us have in our lanes a battle to fight. I received a beautiful message from a sister today on my email list who is dealing with big corporations basically trying to steal their water in a beautiful, very old agricultural community. It's in her lane. She's got to do the dual work of coming into as high frequency as possible, and she may have to be, in the battle, so to speak, to defend the rights of the people of that community to keep their water. That nourishes, the life force energy in this very bountiful valley that I happen to know. So our job is to stay in our own lane, to focus on the light of New Earth in whatever way that shows up for us individually. And that's going to come in a multitudinous ways. It's going to come in the form of every day, the opportunity to devote time to love, to forgiveness, to prayer, to meditation, to clearing our energy fields, to being in high frequency, to basically nourish ourselves at the spiritual level, at the psychological level, at the emotional level, and at the physical level through all the means that we have available to us. High frequency foods, high frequency relationships, high frequency thoughts, high frequency activities, all of that. And to do it in the understanding that that is not an excuse for spiritual bypass. So if something comes in your lane for you to heal, forgive, etc., that means that you're dealing with that too, but you're dealing with it with the tools of someone who is on a spiritual path of mastery. So let's say you have a troublemaker come into your life in some way, shape, or form, a family conflict, someone who's really causing trouble in your child's school system, trying to steal the water rights of the community, whatever it is. It's in your lane. If it's in your lane, it's yours to deal with. And you're going to deal with it both at the external level, of dealing with that person, that issue, that problem, but at the internal level. What is this triggering in me? I'm triggered. Let me use my spiritual tools, my spiritual practices, my healing work to look at my trigger. And if you have not seen, I'll put it in the link below, my video on your triggers are your triggers. We are each personally responsible at this time for resolving what triggers us. We no longer have the excuse to barf our triggers onto someone else who triggered us. They came to serve us so that we can see what our trigger is, so that we can go within and resolve it. And that may require assistance from a friend, a spiritual guide, a counselor, etc., to see what's the trigger here, what's the pattern in my life that this trigger is wanting to open up that Pandora's box so that I could heal and clear it so it's no longer running me from the shadows. So that stuff's going to continue. Unless you're already, a Christed master, which if you are, of course, you're not listening to this, you're out there serving, right? So we are going to continue to deal with personal things, but the more work you've done on your own triggers, the less volatile they are likely to be, unless you have something deep in there that needs to come out for you to heal and clear and liberate your consciousness so that you're not so triggered anymore, so that you can deal with what comes into your lane, and so that you can continue to focus on the new earth rising in whatever way that's aligned for you, whatever your creative inspirations are, whatever it calls you, to build in that sense. It's not necessarily physical building. So triggers will arise. Use your spiritual tools to work them, to clear them, to integrate the shadow that's not yet cleared and integrated, so that you keep going to higher and higher levels of love, compassion, forgiveness, acceptance, and vision, and the power to vision the new earth. And then act in accordance with what's in your lane, what excites you, what motivates you to support the new earth rising. That's basically what we're going to see. And 2023 is going to see ever increasing acceleration of manifestation. So that's why it's becoming more and more essential that we become impeccable with our consciousness and not beat ourselves up when our own triggers arise, when our own shadow stuff. I've just again gone through another thing. That's the nature of what we are here to do, to clear, to integrate, to heal the shadow. So don't beat yourself up if stuff comes going, I should be more spiritual than this. You're clearing lifetimes of trauma, dissociation, soul fragmentation, fear patterning, default settings that no longer serve you because they served you in 3D, but they're not going to serve you in 5D. So be kind to yourself. We're all dealing with, depending on how old you are, decades of conditioning, of basically slave mindset conditioning. So be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself. Know that your light matters, literally becomes matter. And so be impeccable in your thoughts as much as you can, because you're going to get back. If you give your mind and your emotions permission to go down rabbit holes of lots of looking at, what are they doing now? Or holding grudges, being in judgment of others, having attack thoughts, you're going to find quicker manifesting. It's going to come back at you quicker. So that's really my main prediction here, acceleration of manifestation. And our role is to choose wisely what we are going to do with our consciousness and our energies on a day-to-day basis. So double down on your spiritual practices. Be committed to clearing whatever shadow comes up. Be forgiving and compassionate with yourself and your sisters and brothers of this earth. We must remember that those who have bought the narrative hook, line, and sinker are doing the best they can with the tools they have. I've traveled almost all over this world. And here's what I know. It doesn't matter people's religion. It doesn't matter how deeply their indoctrination. People just want to be happy and at peace. And deeply traumatized people hurt other people. At a soul level, at the highest level, they are the children of our Mother, Father, God as well. They are beloved. They are loved without condition. Like the rest of us, they've been lost in a dream spell of sometimes deep, deep suffering. And so let us be forgiving of our sisters and brothers of this earth who are, even those bad guys who are operating from a place of such density and darkness that they have malevolent intent toward humanity, toward the earth herself. Let us have compassion for them as well, because it sucks to be them, no matter how much bling, how much money, how much all of that stuff. Think about the real prize here is a return to a consciousness that is above and beyond this realm. And so those who are deeply steeped in that, no matter how much money and jewels and gems and resources and private jets and control and power they have, literally at a soul level, it sucks to be them. Think about what they're going to have to go through to clear their energy. So let us rejoice in the grace of God's blessing upon us, that we are remembering that we are coming together, that we have the opportunity to be those who stand at the cusp of a new earth and facilitate and midwife that new earth into being. Let us remember that the peace of God can reside within us when we are willing to commit ourselves to that loving grace of forgiveness for ourselves and for the world. We have every ability to bring about the new earth because we have love and God on our side, and we have Gaia on our side. So let us remember that too, that Gaia's frequency is rising now. Gaia's frequency is rising such that those low vibrational frequencies can no longer operate here. So whether it is in our lifetime or another, this planet will no longer be a place for low frequency entities in consciousness to play out their dreams, their nightmares of separation from source. They will need to do that elsewhere. And so we can rest assured that whatever happens on this planet in the short period of time called our lifetime, geologically speaking, this planet is going to come back to or go to a more higher frequency place. So, a more of an Eden, if you will, for beings who have evolved out of the deep matrix of 3D, i.e., us, those who are committed to rising out of it. And do we fall down sometimes? Do we find ourselves judging others? Do we find ourselves judging ourselves, making mistakes, facing, a poop storm of stuff, karmic stuff? Yes, we do. That's part of our evolution out of this matrix. And so again, I say, be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. Be loving. Get support for the stuff that comes up that you need to clear. Stay in your own lane. Focus on the new earth rising. Choose wisely what you are going to consume intellectually, emotionally, and literally, food-wise, so that you can be in the highest frequency possible without doing spiritual bypass. So in other words, I'm triggered, something big has come up, I've got to deal with it. I just want to be in high frequency meditation on my mat, on my cushion, but I can't because I've got to go through this because I'm so triggered. Take a breath, use your tools, know that this is actually the path through this, the way out is through. Through this will tick you up to the next level. So trust and know that you are a loving being You are loved without condition. And all the perceived sins and mistakes you've made are all part of a dream of separation, that you have never left the loving arms of our Mother, Father, God, our Creator. And as you forgive yourself and work through these obstructions to love's presence, you become more at peace, and you become the peace that surpasseth understanding, and you become the light in the world that is a beacon for your sisters and brothers of earth. So let me just take a moment here. I know this has been a little bit long. I hope it's been inspirational. Let me just tune in. There's one other thing I want to say. Astrological, the astrological aspects. From March, I forget when now. I think it's the end of March to June 11th. Pluto, the planet of the soul that represents the soul and the planet of transformation, is having its first little toe dip into the sign of Aquarius. So that is really another herald, one of several big astrological signatures that show us that the old era of control, suffering, sacrifice is going away. So there's the Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto has been in Capricorn, top-down control, now moving into Aquarius. It's just taking a toe dip. It's going to retrograde back. That's why I say we're not done with shenanigans of those who want to maintain top-down control. By the end of 2024, it's going to be fully in the age of Aquarius, which is power to the people, power of the people. So that in itself is one big indicator that, yeah, the shenanigans and all these stories they're telling you about you'll own nothing and be happy and all, this is their fantasy, that they speak it as if it's fact to get you to believe it, to get people in the truther community to make fearful videos. They're about to, the financial system's about to collapse and they're going to put you on a financial system and turn off your heat and blah, 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 blah. All of that stuff is them trying to make their reality a reality. But we don't have to buy into it. We could say, yeah, doesn't apply to me. That's from my dear friend Sherry. Thank you for that. Doesn't apply to me. I'm focused on New Earth because I know their time is up. I know it astrologically, at the very least. So the Pluto in Uranus, in Aquarius is one of those things. Now, the other thing is we are at the end of the Piscean age. The Piscean age, the age of sacrifice, the sacrificial lamb, the victim, all the twisting of the Christ's teachings. That is, the victim perpetrator, all of those frequencies, they're going away because we are moving into the age of Aquarius. And I see, as an evolutionary astrologer who looks a lot at Pluto, I see Pluto's entry into Aquarius as the signature of the next level of this, like we're really moving into Aquarius now. Changing of ages is about a 200 to 300 window of time. It's about 300 years before we're fully in. But this Pluto entering Aquarius for, I think it's 20 years, really heralds like, yeah, the energy is now moving more from, that cusp of Pisces where it's like getting the Aquarian energy coming in there. Now we're kind of moving more into the Aquarian where there's still Pisces signatures, but that's going to start to fade away. So we know that. And from the East, the traditions of the East, many teachers of those lineages, which I study, but I cannot really speak as an expert. But my feeling is truly that we are also at the end of Kali Yuga, that the Yuga of the dark destruction, fear-based Iron Age stuff is now going to move into a more elevated, more enlightened age. So we have, and then there's, the Mayan calendar, the end of the Mayan calendar, which was the end of that old epic. So we see many timelines converging to show us that the time of darkness, groping in the darkness of fear and separation from God, and therefore opening the door to negative forces controlling us and keeping us suppressed in, groveling around in suffering and limitation. That era is coming to a close. And those of us who were born into this time, with enough awareness to not buy that, that dying paradigm, not believe it, not fall prey to it. We came to literally be the light forces to support the transition sufficiently so that it's not as bumpy of a ride. So, yeah, 2023 in a nutshell, we're going to see more of the same, but a quicker manifestation. Our job now is to fully, those of us who've been studying true stuff, we know what we know. We don't need to keep looking there. Pivot, focus on building new earth and addressing whatever challenges come our way, whatever triggers us, from the place of, in a sense, gratitude. Here's a trigger. Ooh, this doesn't feel good, but I know this is a gift for me to clear myself so I'm even more of a clear channel vessel for the light to come through to serve the awakening and serve my own soul's evolution and my own liberation from 3D. So I hope that's made sense. I know I've wandered a bit here and there. Please, I ask for your feedback. I ask that if you've stuck with me till now, give me a thumbs up if you found this valuable. Hit the notification bell. Subscribe to my email list if you want to receive these missives. I will also put the link to the Your Triggers Are Your Triggers video in the description box. And I'm also going to put a link to my Substack newsletter that's much more succinct than this one was, about the predictions that where there's correlation with what I've spoken about today. So thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you so much for your light in the world. May 2023 be an incredibly auspicious blessing for you. May you find the courage and love to face whatever comes your way with the grace of God and the wind of the beloved Mother, Father, God at your back, so that you feel always supported, always loved, and strong in these times. Thank you so much. I ask for your feedback and comments, and if this served you, let me know. Much love, many blessings, and happy 2023. Mwah.